This program is a collaboration of personal opinions and individual free thought. It does not represent the views or narrative of the mainstream corporate media hacks. Viewer discretion is advised.
And here we go.
Live from the bell tower, taking a stand for your rights, your liberties, and all the bullshit in between. You're listening to Break the Bell Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the live version of the Break the Bell Podcast.
Hello, beautiful bell breakers. Seems like forever.
It does. It really does. Streaming live Monday nights, except this week and some other weeks that we didn't stream Monday nights. It's getting really irregular this summer. And I know I said this the last couple of weeks, but we are here this week, so that's what matters.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't pay attention to my kids' baseball schedule until Sunday. I was like, shit, we got a game tomorrow, so I guess we're going to podcast on Tuesday this week. So we're here, though. Yeah. We're live, and that's what matters. If you are here, you're joining us tonight. Thanks for showing up. We appreciate your opinions. The System is Down is here. It says this show sucks. It's just music. Why am I here?
That's
that's all the show is. It's just music, really. So, yeah. Thanks for joining us to talk shit. The System is Down.
Maybe we should start singing our show.
No, we should not do that. You can't do that.
No,
either.
I can't do that.
Nobody's going to sing this show because we'll definitely lose the 5 viewers that we still currently have. So, how's it going, Bill?
It's going good.
You said it feels like it's been a while.
It has. I don't know. I mean, I know last time we did Monday, and now it's Tuesday. Didn't we do Monday? Yeah, but it was like.
But it was like late Monday, and this week is like later Monday, i.e. Tuesday.
Yeah, right.
And next week might be on schedule. We'll see.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything going on next Monday
so.
except maybe the show. So we should be here for the show next Monday. So look forward to that because. Tentatively, that's the idea. The System is Down is here, but I guarantee you he will probably not be around for the Two Scoops morning show that we haven't done in a while. So I'm calling him out right now. If you're still listening, we got to hook up again some morning. So if you're free, yeah. Let's do that thing. He just said bye. All right.
On that note.
So there's the answer to that. I think he's actually in New Hampshire at the Pork Fest this week.
Pork Fest in New Hampshire?
Yeah, it's not pork like pork, P-O-R-K,
okay.
Pork, P-O-R-C, for porcupine, for libertarian.
Gotcha.
Drug and fuck fest, mostly.
Okay. Wild orgy.
Wild sex orgies from
Nice.
libertarians. I don't know.
So
What it
if you needed a reason to switch parties.
Exactly. We have wild sex orgy parties. Yeah. He says, in fairness, there's a lot of porking too. I told you it's a wild. Exactly. So I do mean to get out there. Every year I'm like, next year I'm going to do that. And then the next year comes around and I don't. I've been saying that for like 4 years. Like next year I'm going to get to Pork Fest. So this year I am publicly stating next year I'm going to have to get to Pork Fest.
I used to have family out there.
At the Pork Fest?
No.
Do they do a lot of porking?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
So
knowing my family, yes.
Yeah, so if you are at that thing, good on you. I am freaking jealous. It's more than just an orgy. If you don't know what it is, go look it up. It's a libertarian festival. Need I say more, really?
Yes.
Probably a lot of arguing and infighting, mostly, I'm sure. But that's okay. That's what libertarians do. This week we're gonna be discussing the the judicial differences, the differences in the justice system when it comes to like normal people. That thing is really fucking loud.
That's my doorbell.
Some freaking etiquette, some like podcast etiquette, Bill.
My bad.
The differences in the judicial system when it comes to like us normies versus like people that have connections. And I've come to the conclusion you can tell if somebody, if you're wondering, I wonder if that guy has connections, just look at the jail time that they serve when they do some heinous deed. It's just like, he got off with a plea deal. And it's just like, that guy's got connections.
Well, and they're usually these guys, as we've talked about before, they seem to come out of nowhere.
Yeah, they
right?
just come out of the woodworks.
Yeah.
And
it's like basically like sponsored by God. And, you know.
Except for Hunter Biden. We know
we know
where
he's
he
not,
came from. Unfortunately, we know where he came from. So we're going to be talking about a couple different like stories. One being the Hunter Biden story, obviously. There's some breaking news in that case, and then also FTX is back in the news. You remember FTX?
I do, yes.
Crypto freaking conglomerate.
Yeah. Again, he seemed like he came out of nowhere.
Yeah. Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yes.
He's getting some charges dropped.
Wow.
Quietly. Not so quietly now because we're talking about it, but some like 5 of the biggest charges are being potentially dropped off of his case. So temporarily, supposedly,
okay.
They might come back up later, but we're going to drop them for now.
Sure.
So we're going to be talking about those 2 individuals specifically because it's just like these are big shitheads that should probably serve jail time, and it's like probably not going to serve any jail time. Most likely, they screw people over. They screw.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah, billions and billions
disappears,
of dollars. And it's like, we might drop those charges just because we can. So those are the things we will be discussing. The System is Down is still talking about Porkfest. He says, nerds and drugs and guns, bro. There you go. That's it in a nutshell, which is
sounds like
libertarians in a nutshell as well. Before we get into the show, obviously we got to tell you about where you can find us all over social media still. You can follow us and like us and subscribe to all our social media platforms at our handle, which is at BreakTheBellPod. Do that because some of you are not doing that, so do it. I mean, we've been nice in the past. Now I'm just telling you, just fucking do it already. Just go like and subscribe and share with your grandma, damn it, because we love you for it. It's like harsh love, you know. It's like you have that kind love where it's like, aw, and then you have that. Yeah. All right, you need to get your shit together because we love you.
Please, Jesus, don't let me beat this boy.
Yes. Go like and subscribe and share us all over social medias, just all over in your friends' faces, all over social medias. Also, you can check out our web store at breakthebellpod.com, which I haven't updated in a while, but it still has stuff that you can buy, so you might as well go buy that stuff. We've got shirts like the I Won't Eat Your Bug shirt, which will be a thing someday, very soon. They're still peddling the bug food off on us. There are some people coming out and really taking a stand against the bug feed.
Are they?
But
I think in Europe it's really taken off.
In order for somebody to be taking a stand against it, that must mean it's real. When I created the shirt, somebody's like, "That's not real." It's like, but it is. Just go read.
Wear that shirt to your grandma's.
There you go. Wear that one or the "We Are Not Your Pawn" shirt. We got some logo merch and a bunch of other shit. You can find that at breakthebellpod.com or breakthebell.bigcartel.com.
Is the shirt is not real shirt, is that still
a thing? Yeah, that's still there too.
Okay.
I just haven't put it on this image here. But yes, there is the "This Shirt Is Not Real" shirt as well. In homage to the, what was that one? The Internet is Dead.
Yes.
Episode that we did.
Go back and watch that one. That's a good one.
That one was a brain twist.
Yeah.
So we're going to get right into this episode. Don't go anywhere. We're going to talk about things that'll piss you off, like people with connections not being charged.
Justice Department doing their damnedest.
Yeah, and I have some examples to compare it to, just for some context, of people that did get like heavy sentences versus these people that got off with very little to nothing. Because Hunter Biden's probably going to walk with nothing.
Oh, you know he will.
Most likely.
Yes.
So
He'll run for president here in a while.
So we got to make some. Oh God, stop. maybe they're just going to like try to shift him in to Joe Biden. They're like, we said vote for Biden. We didn't say what Biden.
Exactly.
We didn't say what Biden. They don't even have to make new like banners and shit.
Right.
Just Biden 2024.
Yeah.
I mean,
they'll keep Harris
he dies
as
and
vice president.
Joe dies. Joe dies, and Hunter steps in. It's just like, well, we saved all that money on switching our banners up. Let's get right into this episode. Right after this intro video, we're going to talk about that stuff. So we'll be right back.
What did you say?
You talking to me?
What the heck are you talking about?
What did you say?
What did you say?
What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
What are you saying?
What did you say?
Are you talking to me?
Well, maybe he was talking to me.
What'd you say?
Talk to me.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
Talk to me, baby.
Did you just say?
What did you say?
You listen to me.
Are you talking to me?
Are you talking to me?
What the hell are you talking about?
Who are you talking to?
That was a deep sigh.
We're back. You ever like from week to week, it's like you're looking for something to talk about, and it's like there's nothing good still. It's nothing good. Oh, another guy got let off the hook.
Right.
Oh, we're still at war with Ukraine.
Yeah.
Oh, we're still like heading to war with China. What did we talk about last week? It was the Trump indictment.
Yeah.
Trump's indicted again.
Once again, the Justice Department doing their best.
Yes.
You know,
So,
going after those that they want.
I mean, it's getting more difficult to like plan a show because it's just like it's all the same thing all the time, and it's like just when you think. Like, it's hard for me now to see, like, well, this one's going to break Biden. This is going to be the one that brings Biden down.
Right.
It's just like, no, it's not.
No.
Well, we discovered this freaking, what did we talk about last week? It was Biden, like some anonymous tipper.
Yeah, there was the,
that had information
whistleblower.
about Biden having, like, a pay-for-play, like, pay-for-policy type bribe with the Bidens.
And apparently they had audio even.
Yeah, and it was some foreign, another foreign entity, and it's like, this is it. This is the big one. It's like,
No, nothing's bringing him down.
I'm beginning to be convinced that there is no big one.
Yeah.
They're all the big one, but none of it fucking
If it was
matters.
anybody else, it would be catastrophic.
I don't know about anybody else.
Okay, if it would be anybody else on the right side.
Yeah,
of
maybe.
things.
I don't know.
If it was Trump, I mean, look what they're going after with
Yeah,
Trump
but
with.
is Trump going to go to jail, you think?
No, I don't think
I
he
mean,
will. I don't think he will.
So, I mean,
All right.
I don't know.
Nixon?
Nixon didn't go
Nixon
to jail.
didn't go to jail either.
No.
Shit.
So, it's getting difficult. It's really getting difficult to have faith in our justice system, first and foremost.
I have no faith in the justice system
I
anymore.
mean, you get people that are locked up indefinitely for, like, basically, like, nothing.
Well, the first thing you sent me today, which we ended up retracting because we figured out it was actually like in the fall that it happened, was the FBI burying evidence for 66 years.
Yeah,
right?
for the Seth Rich case, the Seth Rich murder case. The FBI wants to cover that shit up and not unseal the evidence for 66 years. Now, we talked about this back
That's
with COVID.
Kennedy-esque.
Yeah, well, like the COVID vaccines.
Yeah.
It's like any time they're like, we got to lock this up for like the next 75 years until everybody that knows anything about it is fucking dead.
Yeah.
You know, there's got to be foul play there. There has to be. Otherwise,
the FBI
why?
probably did it.
Well, it's for national security
Bullshit.
concerns.
It's to cover their own
we can't
ass.
bring what national security concern? If he was just murdered in a burglary,
Right.
then what's the national security concern?
But if they knew the FBI did it because he uncovered some shit he wasn't supposed to,
or Hillary Clinton,
that could be a problem,
or
right? Or a presidential candidate.
CD McRae is
Hey,
here.
CD.
It says, "Hey yo, CD.
Hey-yo.
System is down." Says my grandma is dead. Mine is too. Just to rub salt in that wound. My grandma is dead too.
Wow, way to go! System is down.
Yes. That is Dan Smots, my little brother of the System is Down podcast. He must not be too busy at PorkFest if he's like commenting on our show, because usually he's like, I haven't seen your show in like 6 years because I'm so busy doing System is Down things. He also said CDDDDDDD. All right, wait, I got to get the comments out of here because I got to get into the show. What were we talking about? The Justice.
Yes.
Yeah, Seth Rich, which I
Yeah.
wanted to do a show on that, but then I realized it was old news, and somebody would have called me out for that
Yeah.
being old news. You're like, dude, that was like back in October. But yeah, the FBI wants to bury the ship for fucking 66 years. And are they still, I haven't looked into it in a while, but are they still giving the same story that, hey, this was just a botched robbery?
Yeah.
Because you can't you can't say one thing and then this is basically a nothing burger. It's just a robbery gone bad. But we're gonna bury the evidence for 66 years.
Right.
It
It's
can't
kind
go
of a red
both
flag
ways. Yes, many red flags in that scenario. We need to do a full Seth Rich deep dive because we weren't doing a podcast back then, so we haven't had the opportunity to. We brought him up during our Clinton body count episode.
That's right.
It came up, but we haven't done a deep dive into it. The System is Down says, Craig, I'm supposed to be writing a speech right now for tomorrow. So are you trying to get inspiration from us for your speech? Because you came to the wrong spot for that. So we're not talking about Seth Rich, unfortunately. No. But, I mean, that one pisses me off.
Yeah.
That's one where it's just like, oh, something shady happened. They're like, nope, nothing shady happened. Oh, the Clintons had something. Or Seth Rich was responsible for the email server, Clinton email server, WikiLeaks, blah, blah, blah. Nope, that wasn't the case either. Oh, I don't know. Seth Rich knew something. No, he didn't know anything. But he's dead, and the FBI is like, we can't talk about this. Guys, we can't show you we can't show... We've come to the conclusion that this is a national security concern. That, to me, says foul play.
Oh, fuck yeah.
From the government,
yes.
if it's national security concerns, or some Israeli. It's usually the American government or one of our closest allies, which always happens to be Israel for some reason. Not to be anti-Semitic, but it's always like, well, we uncovered this really dicey shit with the Israeli government didn't want you to find out about. So now they're pissed at us. That's why we didn't want to tell you, because we didn't want to sever the ties with the Israeli intelligence. Yeah. So it's one or the other, obviously. Or both. Most likely both.
Probably. Joint operation.
So let's get back to the justice system of today and how, some individuals, connected individuals, will get off on something huge. They'll, $2 million of tax evasion, or screwing over customers out of $2 billion or whatever. I don't know. What was the FTX numbers these days?
Gosh.
$2 to $4 billion or something.
That
Something
outrageous
outrageous
like a small
that.
number. Even.
Yeah, and it's money laundering at its finest.
Yeah.
Potentially money laundering for the DNC, money laundering for the Ukraine war. I don't know. This story goes on and on and on. It's kind of like
we did a whole
story.
show on it.
We did.
It was a shit show.
Go back and watch that original episode about our take on the FTX scandal, because it was a doozy for sure.
Yeah.
But before I get to the FTX stuff, I want to bring up, for context, like I said. So I'm going to give an example, and then we're going to go into the Sam Bankman-Fried stuff. Do you remember Russ Ulbright?
Name sounds familiar.
He was the Silk Road guy.
Oh, okay.
The the dark web guy
Yes.
that got charged with selling drugs even though he didn't sell a single drug. They tried to charge him with murder for hire because even though he didn't hire anybody for murder, because he ran a website that these things happened on, he got charged for these stuff. Sam, I'm getting the two mixed up.
Yeah,
Ross Albright is the imprisoned founder of Silk Road, the darknet marketplace, which this guy's a fucking genius. Like, more people need to be like Ross Albright, but nobody will because they set an example. Well, they set an example for it.
Right, and they did it on,
a huge example. Do you know what his prison sentence was?
Oh, it's just a couple life sentences.
Life sentence plus 40 years with no chance of parole for running a fucking website.
Okay.
How does that fucking
40 years
happen?
onto a life sentence?
Well, they do it for like mass murders or like I don't know. They do it for like the most heinous of crimes.
Like you
somebody
said, to send a message.
Raped somebody, then murdered them. Okay. Well, they get the life sentence for the murder and then like 40 more years for the rape or something. Okay. Yeah, but it's unheard of for somebody that runs a fucking website to get 40 years, let alone a life sentence plus 40 years. So Russ Albright, he's only a year older than me. He's a former darknet market operator, most famous for creating and running the Silk Road Market, was arrested in 2013, and 2 years later, a Manhattan federal jury found him guilty on 7 charges, including conspiracy to launder money.
Right.
Sam Bankman-Fried.
Yeah.
SBF. We'll just call him SBF because his name is really fucking hard to say. Conspiracy to commit computer hacking, conspiracy to traffic narcotics by means of the internet, and continuing a criminal enterprise. The so-called kingpin charge. So he got a king. He's a kingpin.
A kingpin?
He's a drug trafficker, and he's a computer hacker. And these are all conspiracy too.
Right.
None of these are,
actually
hey, we caught him doing this. These were all conspiracy too.
Right, which meant they didn't have enough evidence.
The only one that they charged him with actually doing was continuing a criminal enterprise or being a kingpin. And he got a life plus 40 sentence.
That's insane.
He was it says Albright, a first-time offender, was not convicted of actually selling illegal drugs and other items, but of creating and operating a site where others did. He was sentenced to life in prison plus 40 years. Albright, who used the pseudonym Dead Pirate Roberts online, is sentenced to spend the rest of his life in federal prison with no chance of parole.
So the guy was a fan of The Princess Bride.
I'm a fan of The Princess Bride.
I am too, but
it's
that's
like one of the best movies of all time.
Something fans of The Princess Bride tend to not get life sentences.
And they're
plus
not
40
typically
years.
like drug kingpins.
Right, I know.
So
How do you like that on a resume?
He sounds like a
computer nerd.
He was. Well, he just wanted to set up a site pretty much where people could do as they please. And he was just like hands off. It's just like, here's a marketing site. Do what you want. He didn't say, come sell drugs on my site.
Right.
It's just like, just do what you want. It's the internet.
Right.
Just have your way at it.
It's wide open.
I mean, yeah, maybe, I don't know. I don't feel like it. Do you feel like it's his responsibility to regulate what happens on that site?
No, not at all. I mean, that would be like, it's the government's responsibility to make sure bad things don't happen on the interstate.
I mean,
right?
they think that.
Right. But look at all the shit that happens on the interstate and nobody blames the government for it.
Now, take, for example, Instagram. How many times has Instagram been accused of not taking down like child porn sites or child exploitation sites or even child trafficking pages? Like, how many times have you heard that come up? Well, this is being accused of this. Is Meta founder freaking, what's his name, Zuckerberg?
Yeah.
Is he going to get a fucking life sentence?
No.
Even if they come out and find child porn on Instagram.
Yeah. No.
Do you think Zuckerberg gets freaking life plus 40?
Oh, no. Fuck no.
Why?
Because he's got friends in high places.
He's fucking connected. And it's like, I cannot even wrap my head around how this, like, you can say all you want. You could say this guy knew that they were selling drugs on a site. Still doesn't constitute a life sentence. How many drug dealers alone do you know that get a life sentence?
Right. What about, sake of argument, all the internet bullying, right, on Facebook that kids like kill themselves
Right.
from and stuff. I mean, again, Zuckerberg, right?
Yeah,
Twitter.
shouldn't he be charged with murder?
Right. Yeah.
Or like,
Yeah,
well,
because he
whatever the
provided
section-
a spot where it could
Yeah.
happen.
Now, again, have you ever heard of a drug dealer getting a life sentence?
No.
I mean, maybe
30. I think 30 isn't 30 years like the mandatory minimum for
I mean, there are
selling
like the
drugs?
3 strikes you're out
Right.
policy. Like if you get caught,
But that's still not life.
I don't know. Sometimes they will give a life sentence. Some states will at least.
Okay.
But first time offender. I mean, he could have been like, I didn't know it was against the law. Just host a website and people doing stupid shit.
Right.
I didn't feel like I had to babysit these kids on my website.
Right.
Now, even promoting it as, hey, come sell your drugs here, I still can't comprehend life sentence out of this. This was a clear message. Don't fuck with us.
Right.
I mean, well, he was conspiring to commit money laundering through. Well, he wasn't conspiring. He
Yeah.
just had the page.
Right.
He's conspiring to sell drugs. He was if he did even if he laundered money, sold drugs, and even attempted to hire a murderer, he probably still wouldn't have got a life sentence.
Yeah.
So, like, where's this? Like, what's the message here?
Yeah. It, like you said, it's playing out of the outside the bounds, right?
Yeah, you're outside the lines.
Yeah. You're not playing by our rules.
We didn't give you permission to sell your illegal stuff.
Right.
That's the CIA's job.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're kind of.
If you would have cleared your drugs with the CIA, then
you didn't give us our cut. That was the
Yeah.
whole thing. He wasn't paying taxes.
Right,
That
yeah.
was the whole thing of it.
Yeah.
I'm sure. It's like
Right.
you founded a place where people could get around the laws and not pay taxes, and the CIA doesn't get their drug money out of it.
Yeah.
So, that's the only conclusion I can come to with this. Now, fast forward to Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF. Feds are quietly dropping charges against Democrat donor SBF in multi-billion-dollar FTX scam.
in which they still have not recovered all the money.
No,
It just
not
disappeared.
even close.
Right? Just disappeared.
Yeah, and we'll get into
Yeah.
that because we'll get into that. Look at that. That's a face only a mother could love.
Literally.
It says crypto giant FTX went bankrupt last year, losing billions and wrecking the lives of thousands of crypto investors. In January, Sam Bankman-Fried pled not guilty to all 8 counts related to the sudden collapse of his crypto Ponzi scheme. On Tuesday, SBF pled not guilty in New York to 8 charges related to the collapse of his former crypto exchange, FTX, and hedge fund Alameda Research. He was indicted on 8 counts, including conspiracy to commit wire fraud and security fraud. Let's see. Individual charges of security fraud and wire fraud, money laundering, conspiracy to avoid campaign finance regulations. FTX attorney testified that the co-founder used a secret backdoor to launder money to Alameda Research, a sister company. His ex-girlfriend, Caroline Ellis, admitted she and Sam Bankman-Fried conspired to mislead investors and customers. However, federal prosecutors announced Thursday they would drop several charges against him. And this is why. It has something to do with, because he was extradited from the Bahamas.
Right.
It has something to do with his extradition deal. It's
Okay.
like, well, we didn't clear that with the Bahamas. We didn't tell them those charges before. And they might get pissed off if we add charges now because they might not have.
Oh, I'm sure they would have been pissed. Right.
Well,
It's like, oh, there goes another white boy.
but think about it. I mean, how much shady money is getting hit in the Bahamas?
Oh, yeah.
And
tons.
If they were like, yeah, we're gonna charge him with tax evasion and with offshore accounts, they're like, wait, all of you, you got an account there,
Yeah,
you
right.
got an account there,
Yeah.
you got what the hell are you
Biden,
talking about?
Bush, Clinton.
Right, you all got accounts
Yeah.
there. What are you talking about? No, we're not going to let him go on that.
Yeah.
So they covered that one up, and they're like, well, he kind of is a really bad dude. And they're like, all right, extradite him. And they're like, and he has offshore accounts. So like, wait a second.
Yeah, right.
We wouldn't have let him go if we'd have known. And that's what this is all about, supposedly,
Okay.
is, the Bahamas didn't sign off on this
Right.
as part of the extradition. So
Gotcha.
we're going to drop these now and maybe recharge them with that later.
Whatever.
Right. The offer to sever $5 of the 13 charges following a ruling earlier this week in the Bahamas that allows Bankman-Fried to challenge the additional charges. So they want to give him time to come up with a challenge for these charges. He's like, whoa, guys, I don't have time to prepare for those charges. Prosecutor said during a hearing Thursday it was uncertain when the Bahamas would decide whether to consent to the new charges, which included bank fraud and an allegation that Bankman-Fried bribed the Chinese. So the bank fraud one and the bribing the Chinese. Those
I
two
think that would be kind of big, don't you?
Yeah, those seem pretty considerable. But those are the ones that they didn't get signed off by.
I would want to know, what are they bribing? What did he bribe the Chinese
I
for?
don't know. I would like to know.
I mean, that seems like kind of a red flag in itself.
Probably for information on the Bidens.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, we're going to drop those charges because we don't want that to come to light. Severing these counts seems to be appropriate given the development in the Bahamas this week, said the prosecutor. The prosecutor did not provide any explanation for the sudden withdrawal of charges, which were filed in September of 2022. So the prosecutor said, yeah, that makes sense. But didn't provide any details.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we're going to drop these charges because it's appropriate at the time.
Sure.
Oh.
Sure.
Okay, yeah, that holds up in court. The chargers accused Bankman-Fried and associates of operating an unregistered securities exchange, facilitating illegal transactions, and failing to comply with the KYC and AML requirements. Conservative commentary Ian Mills-Chung had this prediction for SBF. SBF is going to walk. Just watch. So that's a commentator's opinion, but that's my opinion too. The guy's not going to jail,
and I think we called that.
We did. Yeah. This guy's not going to see jail.
Yeah.
He's not going to get put it because he's connected.
Oh yeah.
If any one of the conspiracies that we've talked about with FTX being connected to campaign funds, being connected to somehow being the funnel for funds in Ukraine, and then somehow routing it back to I mean, I don't know if that's all true or not. But if any one of them were true, this guy walks. He does, because that shit cannot ever see the light of day.
Yeah.
There's no chance we're ever going to find out what the hell FTX actually was.
Right.
Because it's not just a crypto thing that went bankrupt. Or why is this guy, did they give two shits about this guy? And why is everybody so scared of what's going to happen with this guy?
Right. I mean, look at all the celebrities that came out of the woodwork to support FTX when nobody had even heard of it.
Right. I mean, if somebody had heard of it, all the thousands of people that got screwed out of their money had heard of it.
Yeah, thousands of people screwed out of their retirement, and this guy's going to walk. If it was Bernie Madoff, he would have ended up in prison, hanging from a shower.
Is that what happened to him?
No, he committed suicide.
I'm sure he did. So, what do you think of them? What do you think of this excuse that, we're just going to wait and see how the Bahamas respond to these charges?
Yeah, it's I guess it's legitimate legal finagling, but at the same time, you would think this big of a fish, they would have kind of dotted their I's and crossed their T's to get him.
Yeah, yeah, you think so.
I mean, it would be like going for a warrant, doing a warrant, but not putting finding evidence in the locker, but the locker's not on the warrant.
The fact of the matter is, this was so big, they had to put a face on an indictment.
Right.
But they're not. Nothing's going to come of it.
No.
But they couldn't just better luck next time. My bad, guys. It's like, God.
He's going to end up with another crypto company here in about 5 years.
I don't know about him.
Or you'll be running something.
I don't know about him. But there is wide speculation that FTX is going to reboot. I'm not joking.
Oh, no, I can see it. I can see it. It's too profitable for everybody else.
They want to come back. They want to make a comeback. It was taken over by the people that come in and restructure and blah, 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 and somebody else takes over and tries to get things. Yeah, they're wanting to rebrand it as potentially FTX 2.0.
That sounds fantastic.
Let me read this one because it says this is from Bitcoin.com. It says Twitter is divided as speculations swirl around FTX 2.0 reboot. Supporters rally for a revival, and opponents are skeptical.
Would you invest into FTX 2.0?
Who is still? Why is that shrinking? Who is still a supporter of FTX at this point?
Will Smith.
I'm a huge Cardinals fan.
Yeah.
Like, die-hard Cardinals fan. But if I found out the Cardinals screwed me out of, like, $1 million, I'm not a Cardinals fan anymore. I don't care how much I was before. I don't care what all great things they did before. I would not... And if they're like, you know what, guys, we're changed this time. We're coming back as Cardinals 2.0. It's like, fuck you. You had a good run, and then you fucked me over.
Yeah.
You don't get a second chance. Like, who are these FTX fans that are supporters that are rallying for a revival? Like, they can only be people that were benefiting from the money laundering scheme. That's
the politicians
only people
on the other side of the Ukraine.
The only people that would ever have any kind of support still to this day are the people that didn't get their pocketbooks hit and most likely made a buck out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
This says Twitter users have been engaged in a lively discussion about the possibility of a reboot for the FTX estate. Following recent reports in late May, says opinions on the matter are divided, with opponents of the idea expressing the reservations. Reservations? I would give it more than just reservations.
A little bit.
While proponents are receptive to the notion of a revamped FTX 2.0. It says speculations are circulating about potential. I think we already read that. It says notably Flood, a prominent crypto enthusiast on Twitter with a sizable following of 216,000, expressed his willingness to partake in a public discourse regarding FTX 2.0 with its most fervent supporters. Flood discussed his substantial FTX claim in the range of millions and expressed his current skepticism towards the revival, citing the scarcity of information provided thus far. So he wasn't saying, hey, let's do this. He was saying, well, you guys want to talk about it? Let's talk about it.
Right.
Because apparently he lost some money too. The grapevine is abuzz with rumors, speculation, and fervent discussion, all stemming from the recent reports in late May unveiling the efforts of the trading platform's newly appointed CEO, John Ray III, in delving into a resurrection strategy for the incapacitated cryptocurrency exchange. Reacting to Flood's tweet, a singular individual chimed in with a reply, how exactly are you going to have FTX 2.0 when the token underpinning is AMM is down 95%? Another person wrote, FTX 2.0 won't work. Terrible idea from new leadership trying to save their job. Sorry, you lost that amount of money. One says, don't 2.0 proponents think it's a little unethical to rope people back into the casino? I mean, that's it there. It's just like, we got you once. We promise we're not going to do it again.
Right.
But just come bring your money back, please. Please bring your money back. It'll be fine.
Yeah.
We've worked out all the kinks.
Yeah.
We worked out the bugs. It'll be fine. Just give us a little more money. Yeah. The question has been echoing through the minds of many. Will you trust FTX 2.0? Somebody said, I will never support 2.0, probably controlled by the U.S. government. Not probably.
It is.
Not probably. It very much is controlled by the government, or it'd be dead already. Yeah. Or it never would have got to that point in the first place.
And it probably was before.
Right. And that guy would be sitting on a life sentence plus 40 if it wasn't controlled by the government.
Exactly.
It talks about the polls and stuff, and I don't care. Like, some people support it, some people don't. Who fucking cares? Let's get down to... There was one part I wanted to read. Maybe that was in... I think that was in this next one. This next one talks about how FTX, while they're trying to reboot, they're still fucking bleeding money out to the tune of, like, they spent supposedly $120 million just in advisor fees in 3 months. Just, like, restructuring advisors and some legal fees.
Jeez.
$120 million in 3 months. Sounds to me like the money laundering's probably still occurring.
Yeah.
And just being written off as advisor fees.
Right. Yeah,
because
exactly.
You got a shitty company. It's going to need a lot of work, but $120 million in 3 months?
What advisor are you going to pay $40 million to in a month that needs another 2 months to get things figured out?
Right? It's like, all right, we got off to a good start here. Let's go another month.
Yeah.
Those last 2 months were great. Can we got to do this for another
Pretty
month.
sure we can get this wrapped up in one more, maybe two more. We'll see.
This says, according to Block Research, FTX, the estranged crypto exchange, continues to feel financial pain based on ballooning advisory and legal costs. Despite filing for bankruptcy last year, FTX tried to resurrect and untag itself from wrongdoing. As a result, the exchange has paid a whopping $121.8 million in consulting and legal expense between February and April this year. As restructuring remains top of the mind for FTX, claims in the area continue to surge. Now, where's this money coming from if they're fucking bankrupt?
Right.
And they haven't paid off their people that they owe money to yet.
Right.
Where's this fucking, like, shouldn't that $120 million be, like, going into some kind of fund to help the people that you fucked over?
Yes, absolutely it should.
Says, for instance, the restructuring team, Alvarez and Marcel, slapped the exchange with a $37 million bill. On the other hand, Sullivan and Cromwell law firm charged legal fees worth $37.6 million. Now, is it coincidental that both those bills are $37 million, or do they have like some kind of workaround for money laundering? That $37 million is the cutoff where you don't have to report to whatever.
Right. Yes, that's a very good point.
Because it just seems too coincidental to me that both of those were $37 million.
Yeah, that
well,
is
in
very...
legal fees, we spent $37 million. But on the other hand, in consulting fees, we spent $37 million.
Right. No relation.
No relation at all. It's skeptical to me. But everything about this is skeptical. Is there light at the end of the tunnel for FTX? Your opinion before I get into it.
Yeah, a big fucking shining beacon.
Known as the government that's protecting them because they're part of the government.
Yeah, the government will restructure, they'll take over, and they'll be like, don't worry, we got it taken care of. And they'll be like, oh, you know what? We should make this the U.S. currency going forward.
Right. Says, earlier this year, John Ray III, the current FTX CEO, pointed out that the reimbursement process for creditors was likely to happen after 2 years of recovery. So they have no intention to reimbursing those people that lost money
for
another 2 years.
After recovery.
After a recovery.
Yeah, which they haven't even recovered yet.
5 of the $8 billion that was misplaced is still...
$8 billion.
Yeah, so $5 billion they still need to reimburse.
Wow.
Still needs reimbursed.
Yeah.
And they said they'll do it after 2 years.
After recovery.
That sounds to me like... Guys, we had a good thing here. Let's see if we can keep this going for 2 more years before we just implode again.
Yeah.
I mean, not so coincidentally, there are elections coming up that they could be financing.
Right.
I mean, let's
a big one.
Like we don't have to be held accountable for that for another 2 years.
Yeah.
So we can keep this scheme going for 2 more fucking years for a small cost of $120 million every 3 months.
Yeah.
And but that'll be paid for because we got these supporters that are dumbasses.
Right.
And are like, yeah, let's reboot this thing. Totally, because that thing worked so well the first time.
Right.
Oh, yeah, they don't plan on they're going to pay you back. They're going to pay everything back. They're honest, upstanding.
Once we get on our feet,
right.
2 years, boom, it's yours
again. If a company fucked you out of money, do you give them 2 years to pay that back?
Fuck no.
Do you give them the benefit of a doubt? It's like,
no.
All right. I know.
No, I want it now,
I know
man.
I screwed up. I know you can just bear with me. Well, yeah, you screwed up, but you screwed me over totally, completely screwed me over.
That was my fucking retirement, man.
Just bear with me. All I'm asking for is 2 more years.
Yeah.
And for you to keep investing your money for that
right,
2 years.
Because we can't get on our feet if you're not investing.
I promise it's not going to happen again.
Yeah.
If you just invest a small fee of another like $8 billion, then we'll be able to turn that $8 billion into $16 billion.
Yeah.
Then we'll be able to pay back the $5 billion that we still owe, and we're all going to make money, guys.
Yeah, I think I've seen that movie before.
Yeah. Sound familiar?
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus. Like, who is that stupid? Who is...
Apparently, they think the American people.
Well, unfortunately, they are.
Yes.
Unfortunately...
Well, history shows, yes, they are.
Yes. So, this guy gets... It makes you wonder... because they're kind of quietly dropping charges against this guy. I don't think this guy's going to come back, though.
No.
He's not going to go to jail, but he's not going to come back. Because
he'll get his golden parachute still.
Yeah.
So
he's kind of like Anthony Fauci.
Yeah,
like,
there you go.
Yeah, we're going to quietly send him away. We're going to keep doing the shitty things we do. We're going to send him away, not make him in the face, so people...
But I guarantee you he's going to show up again somewhere.
He will.
Running
absolutely.
something, supporting something, backing something up. He's going to be back in there somewhere.
Oh, he will. He'll get some cushy job somewhere for a while, then he'll make a comeback. But I feel like they are just kind of pinning this all on him right now.
Right.
He's kind of the fall guy for this.
Yeah.
So they can keep doing FTX, clearly, because FTX isn't going away, apparently. There was one part in here, I can't remember where it said it. It's like, FTX stay power is really strong. It's like, that just proves to you that America is stupid. If FTX still has any kind of stay power where people are like, this company's not going anywhere, it's that big, it's that great, even though it clearly wasn't, it tells me that this scheme, this whatever, is going to exist as it was, and they're just going to push the guy out who was the face of it to say, oh, it was all him the whole time. Kind of like Jeffrey Epstein.
Right.
Jeffrey Epstein was a really bad dude. I get that.
Right.
But Jeffrey Epstein was part of something so much bigger.
Right.
You take out, make him the demon guy, like the face of pedophile rings.
Right.
There's this crazy thing about pedophile rings is there's more than one person involved in a pedophile ring.
Hence the ring.
Yes. but they threw it all on Jeffrey Epstein and then Ghislaine Maxwell, too. It's just like, well, get them out of the picture. We can keep operating business as usual.
Right.
Everybody's looking at this over here and talking about how Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself for the last 4 or 5 years. But nobody's actually looking, oh, well, what happened to the pedophile ring? Oh, it's still existing.
Right.
It's kind of like that. It's like, guys, we're rebranding, but we're doing it without SBF, so it's going to be great. Right. It's like, oh, we got rid of that shithead, so it's going to be amazing. It's like, no, but we talked about how much. There's no way this guy ran. How many different freaking?
Oh God, there was like
corporations.
There's like 30.
Yeah,
some different corporations.
It's like this guy was like having like swinger orgies with his best friends up in a penthouse.
Yeah.
And you're telling me he had the time to run 30 different, like to manipulate 30 of these and keep it going for as long. No, this was a thing and he was part of it.
Right.
He was probably a small part of it. He was probably as much a part of FTX as Mark Zuckerberg was of the founding of Facebook.
Right. Yeah.
Not.
Yeah.
Or the creation of Facebook.
He probably got a bigger chunk of the money because he agreed to be the face if something should happen.
To be the fall guy, yeah. He's like, I'm taking a risk. You got to pay. They're paying him to take the risk and put his name on the deed.
Right.
And as the CEO or whatever. Yeah. And then they gave him a penthouse and he had his freaking swinger or weird nerd swinger orgies up in the freaking the penthouse while the thing operated with his name on it.
Yep.
And then he's like, dude, what the fuck, guys? Yeah. Well, this is why we paid. Why do you think we were paying you? It wasn't to have those orgies.
Right. Yeah.
It was in case this happened, you could be the fall guy.
Yes. And now you're the fall guy.
The fantastic part about it is a lot of times when things like this crash, more of the money actually, like, more damage is done because the money can just disappear and nobody's going to look for it because it crashed.
Right. And as long as they got their guy, right, they would stop looking for it.
Yeah. It's like, well, obviously we lost like $8 billion. It crashed.
Right.
And so that money could be off laundering wherever with no regulation because, well, it tanked. It's just gone. Guys, it's just gone. Yeah. Like the money's just no longer there. It's like, well, where'd the money go? It's like, I don't know. I don't know.
It just wasn't there.
The FTX crash. Remember that?
Yeah, right.
Sam Bankman-Fried, remember him?
That asshole.
The money gone. Money gone. And he's sitting there. I was like, Where the fuck did money go? It's like, you promised me money. And it's like, well, the good thing is you're not going to get a lot of jail time out of this. And you'll continue
your orgies.
We'll find you another penthouse for you. We can't keep you the same. I think he sold the penthouse.
Probably.
I think not him, but somebody sold the penthouse.
We'll put you up in the Virgin Islands, right? Still U.S. territory.
Yeah, we'll put you up. I heard Epstein's Island is up for grabs.
Oh,
right
there
now.
you go.
So maybe we'll put you up there. That might be a good place to hang out. I don't know. Like, where do you where does this go? Like, the money laundering continues. It's like such a finger to you that they're like, yeah, well, obviously we know that the deal's going to continue, but it's a finger knowing that they're going to continue doing it under the same name and be like, yeah, guys, we're nothing to see here.
If you're going to fuck them, at least change the name of the position, right?
Change the name of the company, yes.
Right, at least, it's a XTF.
Right, do something. Don't be like, yeah, you guys are retarded, and we're going to do this under the same name, and nobody's going to bat an eye because nobody pays attention. Yeah. It's just the way it is now. They used to try to hide that shit from us. Now they just blatantly do it out in front of us. It's like, man, nobody fucking cares because they're all too busy with Pride Month, or they're all too busy with the war in Ukraine, or Chinese balloons,
pro-life marches, or something.
Something stupid that doesn't fucking matter to us, but they're going to continue to just like funnel our money around, steal money from people, and funnel it around, and then be like, "Oh, we had no idea this guy was donating millions of dollars to campaigns." It's like somebody had to see that money coming,
right? Yeah.
Somebody yes, this guy is guilty of campaign finance, whatever. Mm-hmm. Isn't the people that receive that money guilty of the campaign?
I think so.
More guilty,
right?
Than
if
the
you
guy
buy
donating.
stolen goods, you're considered guilty. So if you're getting crooked money for your campaign, I would consider that kind of guilty.
Yeah, I mean, sure. He was like, "I'm gonna give you this money, guys. I'm a shithead. That's what I do." And they're like, "Oh, thanks." Like, who's more guilty? The shithead that everybody knew is a shithead that's donating the money, or the people that know they're not supposed to do this to take this money, and they're like, "Oh, thank you, Sam.
Right.
Thanks for the money." And then they'd be like, "Well, I had no idea this guy was a shithead."
Right. Yeah.
It's like
bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
No, he's a pawn.
He is.
He's a freaking pawn.
I want to put evidence of it though, because it's going to keep running without him.
I want to put him up there with Jeffrey Epstein, but he's like that kind of pawn.
Yes.
That's just like, I'm going to walk around and be the face of this thing that just operates.
Yeah. I guarantee, though, if this would have gone on another couple years, he would have been probably Epstein quality.
You think so?
Yeah.
He's too young. Maybe.
You almost, when you look at like the whole Epstein thing and then this guy, and I'm sure there's been many others, you got to think that, okay, they need somebody there to be that guy, right? Some kind of power broker, some kind of money launderer. And so that only goes for so long, and then media finds out who it is. They got to get rid of them. They bring in someone else.
Maybe they intentionally allow them to find out who it is.
Maybe.
So us little people down here are like, "Oh, the Justice Department's doing something about it," or "How could you let this happen? Maybe we need more regulation." So they tighten up regulation and use it as a way to tighten up regulation. The same thing keeps happening, even though this supposedly are tighten up regulation. FTX is going to continue to exist under who's this other guy?
Ray
something the third, something Ray the third.
Yeah, Charles Ray the third, or Clay.
Not Ray Charles.
No.
not that blind guy.
Georgia on the mind.
I can't find his name now, but you get my drift though. Like, it's just gonna operate with another face, and that other face is like gonna come in and be like savior complex, like, well, this is gonna be so much better this time because it's kind of like he's probably gonna be like going with like an Elon Musk attitude,
right
like, yeah, this thing has great potential, you guys sucked, and I'm the one that's gonna be able to save it, and
we're gonna have transparency across the board. We'll send you little emails telling you how your money's doing.
Exactly. Yes, how your money is getting spent by us.
Yeah.
And laundered by us.
Yeah.
Can I get a receipt for the money laundering? Hey, look, I don't even care if money laundering exists. I really don't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you want to go through the effort to find whatever ability to not pay your taxes.
Yeah.
That's not on me.
Right.
That's on you. When you're screwing other people out of their hard-earned money that they're paying taxes on, that's when I have a problem with it.
Yes.
It's kind of like with that Albright guy. It's like he's like, you want to money launder? Just I'm gonna sit over here. There's a server right here. I'm not gonna ask any questions. But that guy's in fucking jail.
Right.
This guy literally was laundering money, and he's probably not going to.
No. Because he was laundering it for the right people.
Right. He was laundering it for the launderers.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not skirting the taxes. He's laundering the money for the tax man.
Yeah. Right.
So,
right. Yeah, which is fucked up.
I don't know. Any final thoughts on this FTX bullshit?
No, but because of the way this has turned out, it makes you wonder like how many more of the FTXs are out there.
Oh, I'm sure there's tons of corporations like little like it's the big ones that we know about. It's the 30 other smaller ones that worry me because there's so many of those. Like didn't they come out and find like Biden had some C corps and stuff that money was flowing through?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hunter Biden had C corps that money was flowing through. I don't even want to imagine how many little C corps are out there that are set up just what do they call that where I can't think of the name of it where it's the basic nothing they set up like
shell companies.
Yeah. Set up a bunch of shell company. How many shell companies do you think are out there? Shell companies on top of shell companies that funnel it through. Like, these mega freaking launderers have probably over 100 shell companies just to weed their money through to cover their trail. So those are the ones that bother me more. It's just like, it's not the big ones people know about. It's all the small shell companies that all their money is funneling through because the big corporation goes away. The shell companies still exist. They set up they rebrand or whatever. They pull their money back from the shell companies and they continue to do what they do.
Right.
Or they just rebrand as the same damn thing.
Yeah.
Kind of marketing strategy. Like, who is their freaking PR guy that was like, we need to kind of make people feel better about your company. So how we're going to do that is we're going to name it the same damn thing. And they're paying $120 million in advisor fees. And his advice was FTX 2.0. That was $120 million?
Yeah. Yeah. We're in the wrong line of work.
Jesus. No shit. What the?
I got a brilliant idea. Just imagine this. All right. FTX the sequel.
Like look at PR back in like the Rockefeller era versus today. Like back then it's like, you're kind of shithead. Maybe you should become like a philanthropist and like act like you're good and like spend money on education. You're really screwing over the education system. Spend money on like health, but you're really screwing over the health.
Yeah.
You're going to make money, but you're coming at it from a philanthropical way.
Making
and it's
the world better.
People are going to look at you in a better light. And then you fast forward to 2023 where it's just like, you kind of look like a shithead. What you should do is the same thing. Just keep doing it. Who fucking cares?
Right.
That'll be $120 million. Genius.
Yes.
I mean, if it works, I guess, why not keep doing it?
And it will.
It will. It absolutely will. We're going to see like probably ads for FTX 2.0 popping up on like Hulu or something within probably the next 6 months.
Since we're talking about it, I'll probably have a couple ads on my Facebook.
Oh, yeah. They'll be like, the next greatest thing in cryptocurrency, fail-proof FTX 2.0. Great. Let's get on that.
Yep.
I think I'm going to get into a break before we switch focuses over to Hunter Biden because that'll irritate us too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's a new story, new segment. So let's take a break. Sit back, relax, top off your drink, whatever it is you do during this time. We're going to take a couple minutes, and then when we come back, we're going to keep talking about the connected, just getting a slap on the most of the time, not even a slap on the wrist anymore.
No,
so
they just get more money.
It's infuriating. It's freaking infuriating. So if you want to be infuriated, don't go anywhere. Be back for this. We'll be back in just a second.
Have you ever thought that maybe voting, maybe all this politics constantly surrounding you is not the way to achieve freedom in your life? Hi, I'm Remso W. Martinez, and I ask myself the same question. That's why I'm on a journey to find true freedom in my lifetime. From learning about financial independence, to new ways to develop rugged individualism, to amazing guests living strange, crazy, amazing lifestyles that you've only thought might be real, but actually are. Go ahead and check out my new show, On the Run with Remso W. Martinez at the We Are Libertarians Network. You can find On the Run with Remso W. Martinez on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Google Play. You know how the internet works. Come on down and let's discover how to achieve real freedom in your life together.
Hey everybody, I just want to take this time to give a big shout out to the very first sponsor of the Break the Bell podcast. That is Goulash Media. They can be found at goulashmedia.net. Goulash Media specializes in graphic design, web design, audio recordings, video work, wedding videos, music videos, even political campaign videos. Goulash Media caters to the little guy with the big vision. You can check them out at goulashmedia.net. That's GOULASH media.net. Back. What are we talking about?
Fucked up stuff.
Oh, that's the premise of the show.
Yes.
It's like, if you like fucked up stuff, you'll love the Break the Bell podcast, because that is all we talk about. Stuff that will piss you off because nothing changes.
Right? Yeah, right. It's the same shit, different day.
Different person, different, yeah.
But still connected.
How does it make you feel going back to the first half? It was a long time ago, first half of the show. Knowing that Sam Bankman-Fried is probably going to walk while Ross Albright is locked up for a lifetime plus 40 years.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, that's just the start of it. I'm sure there's hundreds of people that are locked up for doing a lot less than Fried. And
yeah, like, not even like financial crimes. Just think about like, who is the guy who got like thrown in jail because the FBI, or not but the cops busted in his door and like shot up his wife, and it was like the wrong house or something, so he shot back and he went to jail.
Yeah.
But like people like this, high connections, get off the hook.
Yeah. People who don't have the connections that, could go 20 miles through a, wrong speed zone or something, and they get nailed for all kinds of shit, you know? I mean, it's ridiculous to me.
It's gross. It's disgusting.
It is gross. And it's exactly what, fuck color. I mean, it's that eliteness, right? That entitlement that they get,
Let's shift focuses. I want to give another example for context before we get into the Hunter Biden shit. Let me get rid of the music. So this was back in February. This article is from justice.gov, so it's almost like they're bragging about this shit. Let me pull this up. It says 2 individuals are sentenced to prison for tax fraud schemes. Sentenced each to 30 months in prison. A North Carolina woman and a Maryland man for conspiring to defraud the United States, aiding in the preparation of false tax returns and stealing government funds. 30 months. I mean, that's not a long. That's not a life sentence plus 40 years, but still 30 months for filing false tax returns.
Almost 3 years.
It says, according to court documents, between 2013 and 2016, Sandra Denise Curl of Charlotte, North Carolina, and Percy Leroy Jacobs of Prince Frederick, Maryland, filed estate and trust tax returns on behalf of multiple fraudulent trusts they owned, seeking refunds to which they were not entitled. Now, imagine that. Multiple fraudulent trusts that they owned. Like, think about the 30 hedge funds, or not hedge funds, shell companies, but same thing. 30 shell companies plus that Sam Bankman-Fried
Yeah.
was funneling me funds through. It says Curl and Jacobs also filed false personal returns claiming fictitious tax withholdings in order to generate refunds. In total, the defendants attempted to defraud the IRS of more than $2.2 million.
Oh, no, not $2.2 million.
So it's not even like they got the money. They just attempted to.
Yeah, right.
And the IRS did their job and caught it. And they're like, no, you're wrong. I mean, I would have claimed ignorance. I would be like, well, I thought I had all those returns. I'm sorry, maybe you should. I don't understand why I have to figure out how much I owe you in the first place.
Right, yeah, right.
Like, it shouldn't be that way.
You should just send me a bill.
And then I figure out how much I owe you. You turn around and say, no, that's wrong.
Yeah.
You did it wrong, and now you're going to jail.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that's how the IRS is. It's like, you owe us an amount of money. It's like, well, you're going to tell me how much. No, I'm not. You need to figure that out.
Yeah.
So you don't know? But no, we do know.
Yeah, right.
We're just not going to tell you.
Yeah, we want to see if you know.
Well, yeah, we want to see what you you tell us what you think, and we'll tell you if you're right. And if you're not right, you're going to go to jail.
Right. Yeah, and owe us a lot of money.
And owe us all that money plus a bunch on top of that.
Yeah.
So it says, in addition to the terms of imprisonment, District Judge George Hazel ordered both defendants to serve 3 years of supervised release and pay $950,000 in restitution. So, that's on top. It says in addition to the 30 months, they also got 3 years of probation or supervised release and a $950,000 bill on top of that.
Wow.
So there's that. That's an example. Now, compare that to the Hunter Biden story, where he supposedly defrauded his taxes in the tune of $1 million
on purpose.
On purpose, which they probably did too, which I don't care.
Well, yeah.
And also was being charged for his felony weapons possession while being a crack addict.
Yeah. Yeah, right. He wasn't supposed to have the gun.
Mm-mm.
Anybody else would have. The same gun that the FBI fucking hid, right?
Probably, says, so this one's from Politico.com. And it says, Hunter Biden has reached a plea deal with federal prosecutors to resolve a 5-year federal investigation into his failure to pay about $1 million in federal taxes and his purchase of a handgun in 2018. There's Hunter. He's looking more like Joe every day.
He really is.
Says, under an agreement detailed in a filing in federal court in Delaware, President Joe Biden's son will plead guilty to a pair of misdemeanor tax charges. Prosecutors have also charged him with possessing a firearm while being a user of illegal drugs, which is a felony. But they have agreed to dismiss that charge if he completes 2 years of probation. So he's going to plead guilty to the tax stuff, the tax charges.
Misdemeanors.
Probably not get any jail time out of the plea deal, I guarantee. And in this plea agreement,
he won't even get an ankle bracelet.
No, fuck no. In this agreement, they're going to drop the felony charge, the weapons charge, if he gets put on probation.
Wow.
I mean,
that's fucked up.
That seems like the...
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's real nice for him.
Cushy way out for him.
Yeah. I mean, considering the only way they knew about the gun is because his ex-sister-in-law, who he is banging, kind of, narked on him.
Hunter Biden, 53, is unlikely to serve time in prison if he complies with his release conditions. Sounds kind of like Jeffrey Epstein. The deal, subject to approval by a federal judge, calls for both sides to recommend that he be put on probation. So both sides have to agree to this for it,
right?
Which they
and
will.
Why wouldn't he? I mean,
the probe was overseen by U.S. Attorney for Delaware David Weiss, who was appointed by former President Donald Trump and was permitted to stay in the post after Joe Biden took office in order to complete the investigation of the president's son. The White House and Justice Department have said they did not interfere with Weiss's investigation.
It's odd that they would throw that in there.
Mm-hmm. It's funny that you have to mention
that they did not interfere.
Oh, by the way, they did not investigate. The White House and the Justice Department did not interfere.
Yeah.
It is my understanding that the 5-year investigation into Hunter is resolved, said his attorney. Christopher Clark said in a statement, I know, listen to this. I know Hunter believes it is important to take responsibility for these mistakes he made during a period of turmoil and addiction in his life. He looks forward to continuing his recovery and moving forward.
I'm sure.
I mean, they're really playing out that sob story addiction thing.
Yeah, right.
But the part where he's like, I know Hunter believes it's important to take responsibility. Yeah. Now, if Hunter thought it was important to take responsibility, he'd be like, no, every other crackhead gets locked up for these same charges. Right. I'm going to take responsibility. I can't play this whole favorites thing just because I'm the president's son.
Right.
I should serve my time as well.
Right.
That's taking responsibility.
Right.
Not, oh, thank you for
or maybe even vocalizing that himself. Wow, I'm really sorry I fucked this up. I feel horrible that I did this. Instead of his lawyer saying, Hunter feels really bad about this and he's sorry.
Now, on down, it says, Hunter Biden says, I am cooperating completely and am absolutely certain, 100% certain, that at the end of the investigation, I will be declared, or I will be cleared of any wrongdoing. Does that sound like he's taking responsibility?
No, it doesn't seem like he's...
That's the opposite of taking responsibility.
Yes.
Now, this is the guy whose dad... Remember when we played the video like 4 times of Joe Biden saying that drug felons should be in jail. Remember, he's like, they should be in jail.
Yeah.
They will be in jail. When he was talking about the crime bill, and he didn't want his mom to get raped by a drug offender.
Right.
Remember that conversation?
And his son becomes the drug offender.
That is the definition of taking responsibility for those wrongdoings put out there by his father, Joe Biden. So if he's saying, I know Joe Biden or Hunter Biden is ready to take responsibility. No, he's still denying that he did anything wrong.
Right, yeah. By coming out and saying, I'm confident I'll be cleared of all these.
I mean, that was in the past, though, that he said that. Now he's pleading guilty, which means he's taking responsibility. But he's only pleading guilty because he's probably not going to go to jail.
And he knows it. Yeah.
Yeah. Says the plea agreement is intended to be comprehensive resolution. I love when they say comprehensive.
I love comprehensive.
Yes. A resolution of Hunter Biden's potential legal liability in all matters investigated by federal authorities, says a person familiar with the negotiations. Now, that doesn't sound just like the tax evasion and the gun thing. They're sneaking this in here. In this article, it's like the charges are being dropped, or not dropped, but he's making a plea deal to get out of this tax charges and get out of this felony charge. And a little side note, it's intended to resolve any potential legal liability in all matters investigated by federal authorities. What does that include?
Right. Yeah.
His dealings in China, his dealings in Burisma, his freaking money laundering for foreign entities,
probably
his
selling
dealings
secrets
with Joe Biden.
Right.
Like, does that involve his issues with Joe?
Yeah.
I want to get more into that because the GOP guys are like, well, just because they're putting this to bed doesn't mean we're putting it. We're still going to pursue this.
I was going to mention that.
However, somebody familiar with the negotiations, whatever the fuck that means, somebody says that this is intended to resolve all his liabilities in all matters investigated by federal authorities. That means all of them.
Yeah.
Across the board. Somebody thinks that, at least.
And I believe that.
The GOP doesn't believe it, but somebody has read the fine script.
Right.
And they're like, no, all that's all going away.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, now that this is being resolved, now we can move on to the bigger issue of the Burisma and stuff. It's like, no, you missed the all matters being investigated by federal authorities. Right. And they're like, shit.
Yeah.
So, goes on, it says, those matters include allegations Republicans have leveled in recent years that his business dealings and well-compensated post on the board of Ukrainian energy company Burisma amounted to corruption or violated the Foreign Agent Registration Act. This is the end of it, says a person involved, speaking on condition of anonymity to discuss the private legal discussion. Weiss's office confirmed some details of the agreement in a press release. without elaborating, saying the investigation is ongoing. Glad he cleared that up.
Yeah, right.
It was not immediately clear what parts of the inquiry are continuing, but prosecutors could look at a potential crime or civil liability on the part of others who have come under scrutiny in the probe. So the investigation's ongoing. They're dropping everything with Hunter, but other people that might have been involved with
They're
him,
going to go after him.
they might go down for this, but not Hunter, obviously.
Right. Obviously.
God, can you imagine if it's like his valet driver, somebody goes to jail for this, or like his
gardener,
his stripper.
Right.
I don't know. The criminal charges against Hunter are sure to be unwelcome for the president, as they would likely be for any parent. Although how much political damage they will do to his reelection remains unclear.
Not enough.
Obviously,
Not
he's
enough.
still there.
Yeah.
Hunter's friends and allies have often chalked up any unwise behavior on his part to his long publicly acknowledged battle with drug addiction.
Not an excuse.
Yeah. Well, his friends say that he only did these shitty things with like the entire world and like money laundering stuff because he was a crackhead.
Yeah.
Because that's what crackheads do.
They launder billions of dollars.
Billions of dollars and like make shady dealings
set
for
up pay
the
to
vice
play
president.
politics for their
that's the typical crackhead behavior, obviously.
Obviously.
I mean, no sober-minded crooked politician's son would ever behave that way if it wasn't for crack.
Right. Which he wouldn't have been on if his brother didn't die.
If his brother didn't die, and the crack epidemic in the 80s, and I don't know. The issue appears to have been this is Politico. They're like really.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're really babying this guy.
Yeah.
The issue appears to have been a factor. The issue being crack addiction. Appears to have been a factor in the structuring of the deal, allowing the president's son to take advantage of a so-called diversion program to avoid a felony record. So that was the factor in this sweetheart deal was, well, he was a crackhead. You got to give him a pass because he was a crackhead. Oh, okay. But he's not a crackhead now, so everything's good. During the investigation, Hunter reportedly paid off his tax debts by tapping more than $2 million he was loaned by a Hollywood attorney and producer Kevin Morris, who is also said to be funding a movie about Hunter Biden based in part on his 2021 memoir, Beautiful Things.
Oh my gosh.
There's going to be a Hunter Biden movie, and we're going to have a screening of it right here.
Is there any bigger douchebag in the world you want to see get theirs other than Hunter Biden?
This is going to be the worst movie of all time.
Yes, it's going to be worse than the Anthony Fauci movie.
Either you make him, you dramatize it to make him more of a shithead than he may already be.
Which they won't do.
Or it's going to be really fucking boring.
Yeah.
It's going to be like this redemption story. You know it's going to be this redemption story.
Yes.
Who plays Hunter Biden in the Hunter Biden movie?
Oh, shit. Johnny Depp.
Really? No, he's too charismatic.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's got to be somebody boring as fuck.
Kevin Spacey?
I mean, that would work. It would fit. Tom Hanks is Hunter Biden.
He's America's sweetheart, though.
I know, but could you imagine that? But maybe that would be what would bring back a Hunter's reputation. You have Tom Hanks play Hunter Biden, and that boosts his reputation. Yeah, you remember him. He was played by Tom Hanks in that movie. He was great.
I loved him in Mr. Rogers.
Tom Hanks can play anybody, including Hunter Biden.
Wow.
Hunter said in an interview that year connected to the book's release that he was confident the probe would not lead to charges. So this was back when the book came out, back in 2021, that he's just taking responsibility by saying, I feel like this is going to get dropped.
It doesn't help that he's getting a couple million back to pay back his tax.
Yeah, the same guy that's that's funding his movie is also paying off his taxes.
It sounds like he's learning his lesson, so that's good.
Obviously. Yeah. I mean, don't get caught. That's the lesson. That's the freaking lesson. Joe's like, boy, now I taught you I taught you to be a better person than this. And he's like, I know, Dad. I defrauded the... No, that's not what I'm talking about.
I do that too. That's not a big deal.
Now, listen here, Jack. You don't get caught.
Is that one thing I learned from cornhole?
Corn pop, not cornhole. The hell?
Sorry, corn pop. Cornhole's the game.
One thing, and we all know that corn pop was a really bad dude. And the problem was he got caught. Moral of the story, don't get caught.
Because if you do, corn pop's waiting for you.
Right. So I mentioned that the GOP plans to continue their probe,
Right.
even though apparently they can't,
Right.
according to someone familiar with
Right.
the story. This is also from Politico. It says the House GOP vows to continue Biden's probe despite Hunter's sweetheart deal. I think it's interesting Politico called it a sweetheart deal.
Yeah, right. Well, it's
Over-
in quotes, though.
Oh, true. Yeah, the GOP probably called it a sweetheart deal. Oversight Chair James Comer said the plea deal would have no impact on his panel's investigation into President Joe Biden and his family. House Republicans are lambasting the plea deal between the Justice Department and Hunter as proof of a federal law enforcement double standard and warning it won't derail their months-long investigation into the president and his family. As part of the agreement filed in federal court in Delaware on Tuesday, Hunter will plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges. He's also being charged with possessing a firearm while being a user of illegal drugs, which is a felony. It says the charges, which are the culmination of years-long federal investigation into the president's son, immediately sparked accusation of a double standard by House Republicans who are conducting a far-reaching investigation into business deals of Hunter and other family members as they hunt for an elusive link to Joe Biden.
It's not that elusive.
No, it's like blatant.
I know. It's like everybody can see
It's
it.
like you don't even have to hunt for it.
Yeah.
It's like those. Do you ever see those like ridiculous sport hunting where they like take you out, you put you in a tree stand, they like coaxed a deer by you, and
Right.
like, oh, what'd you think of your hunting experience?
right.
That's the hunt that they're part
Yeah,
of in
right.
this, of that elusive deal that is eating off a freaking salt rock
Right.
thing.
Yeah. It's like,
They're right in front of you.
Didn't even see that coming.
Oh, so elusive. Where to go? It's blatant.
Yeah.
It's so blatant that it's like hard to believe.
Yeah.
Blatant.
Yeah.
It says no evidence has emerged that the then vice president's actions were influenced by his family's business agreements. This is where we're at. This is the journalism at its finest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, despite the lack of evidence. I mean, how long did they say lack of evidence about the Wuhan lab
Right.
leak that we talked
Oh,
about last
yeah.
week? And then all of a sudden,
3
everybody's
years.
like,
3 years.
yeah. It's like, all the evidence points at natural origin.
Right.
What evidence pointed at it if it was, and at the end of the day, was very much
Yeah.
most likely a lab leak.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, all the science and all the evidence points at it. It's like, where?
Yeah.
What fucking evidence? What evidence? Like, there's no evidence?
Yeah.
No
Ju-
evidence about Hunter's
Yeah.
shady dealings?
20 years from now, there's going to be a book come out and be like, oh, shit, look at all the shit Biden did do. Oh, well, he's gone now.
What about Hunter Biden taking this position on the Burisma board? Was it the Chinese board? And then all of a sudden, 2
Yeah.
days later, Joe Biden is there making policy change.
Right.
That's not even like a shred of evidence
Right.
of influence? Not a shred.
Nope.
And it just happened to benefit the company directly. It was the fracking thing, remember?
Yep.
And
it was in China.
happened to benefit directly the company that Hunter Biden was working for, because they were the only company licensed to frack in the region. And Joe Biden comes and is like, you guys know what you should be doing is fracking, and we'll give you all these freaking, like, all this knowledge on how to do it. And Hunter's company is sitting back there. I was like, oh, no way we're going to benefit from this. What a coincidence. We
Right.
just sign on Hunter Biden,
Yeah.
and then Joe comes around and he's like, you guys ought to be fracking. We're in the fracking bit.
Wow.
Did you know this was going to happen? I had no idea. No evidence to support influence from Joe Biden
Right.
because of his family's business
Right.
agreements. Bullshit.
Yeah.
Oversight Committee Chair James Comer on Tuesday quickly vowed to push forward with his months-long investigation. accusing the Justice Department of cutting a sweetheart deal that would have no impact on his investigation. He says, our investigation is ongoing. I said from day one, this is an investigation of Joe Biden. So what happened today really doesn't matter, Comer said. Now, until some fine print comes out, and they're like, oh, you know how you had to end all the federal investigations into Hunter? Well, that's connected directly to Hunter, so you got to end that too. Right. I mean, they're going to throw this. They're going to throw this at that. Right. It's like
it's going to quietly peter out because it's just like the whole Trump saying Hillary's going to jail thing.
Oh, absolutely,
right?
yeah. I mean, we're going to lock her up. Yeah. How'd that go for it? Like, Comer's going to get up and be like, through your son's company, Burisma, and then they're going to be like, objection, this was covered in that plea deal with Hunter Biden. Yep. He can't discuss that.
Yep. That's off the table.
That's not admissible in court. Yep. It's like, well, what about your discussions with, nope, scratch that too. That one's on here too. Yep. None of his, because you tied Hunter to all of these investigations into Joe, well, they're all thrown out.
Hunter's off the table.
Yeah, Hunter's like, he's off. You can't talk about him.
Do you have any business
him.
dealings that don't involve Hunter?
It's like, well, we got his brother. What's his brother's name? Do you remember? I can't think of his name.
I can't either.
Dickhead.
Brian.
Dickhead Biden. I don't know. And they're like, objection. He is Hunter Biden's uncle, which directly connects his direct relationship to Hunter Biden, which directly connects this to Hunter Biden's deal.
Yeah, right.
Because he's his uncle, that's also off the table. It's like, well, what about this one thing that you did? No, objection. He is Hunter Biden's dad, which also throws that off the table.
What about the gardener? No,
because he was his lover. Let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Speaker Kevin McCarthy, speaking to reporters Tuesday, called the deal an example of the two-tier system, but one that does nothing to existing GOP investigations. It actually should. So this is interesting here. He said, so this is Speaker McCarthy. He says, it actually should enhance our investigations because the DOJ should not be able to withhold any information from them now. So before, when they're like, well, we need this information about this in regards to Joe Biden's thing, they'd be like, sorry, that's part of an ongoing investigation. We can't give you that information.
Right.
Well, now that this sweetheart deal comes out,
not part of
investigation's closed.
Gotcha.
So they should be able to give up a lot of that information.
Yeah.
They should.
Unless it mysteriously disappears.
Even he said they should. They should be able to provide Chairman Comer with any information that he requires, but they won't.
No, they won't.
Comer's team has already. They'll probably lock it down for 66 years.
66. Yeah, right.
Is probably
the
what
DOJ has requested we bury this
for national
60 years.
security.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No shit.
Comer's team has already collected suspicious activity reports from the Treasury Department, which do not automatically indicate wrongdoing. So that's not evidence. Remember, they said there's no evidence.
Yeah.
Comer's team collected suspicious activity reports, which doesn't automatically indicate wrongdoing. Don't forget that.
No. It's just suspicious, but it's not wrongdoing.
Tied to Hunter and his business associates, as well as quietly subpoenaed a swath of bank documents. Committee staff is working to set up a closed-door deposition with Devin Archer, a former Hunter Biden business associate that Republicans hope will shed light on the business deals.
Until he shows up dead.
Until he's fucking dead, yes. In addition to Comer's probe, Jordan has been investigating GOP claims of political bias against conservatives within the federal government, with a particular focus on FBI and Justice Department. Spokespeople from Ohio Republican didn't immediately respond to requests for comment. Why do you have to add that in there? Jordan, in a tweet, called the plea deal a double standard of justice, and the GOP's Judiciary Committee Twitter account, which is run by Jordan's staff, said Hunter Biden should be looking at a minimum of 5 years in prison, but since he's a Biden, he gets a slap on the wrist. Does he even get a slap? I mean, he gets probation, I guess.
No,
but his probation
he gets $2 million in a movie deal.
Right. At minimum.
Right.
And there was some confusion Tuesday over whether the plea deal represented the conclusion. This gets back into, are we allowed to investigate other things?
Right.
There was some confusion Tuesday over whether the plea deal represents the conclusion of a federal probe into Biden, or if not, what is still under investigation. Hunter's legal team said the plea agreement is intended to conclude his potential legal liability in all matters investigated by federal authorities, including those related to GOP allegations about his business deals. Chris Clark, criminal counsel for Hunter Biden, said, "It is my understanding that the 5-year investigation into Hunter is resolved," which is bullshit.
Yeah.
It's absolute bullshit.
Yeah.
According to the U.S. Attorney for Delaware, David Weiss, he says in a release about the agreement that the investigation is still ongoing. He says, "What's ongoing? Normally there's a press conference for more clarity," Comer told reporters. Is there really an ongoing investigation, or is it just something they're putting in there to prevent the oversight committee from getting new evidence? So that could be it. They're like, well, yeah, this case is closed, but the investigation's ongoing. So they can, when he does request that evidence for his findings, they can still say that's still part of an ongoing investigation. It's like, but what fucking investigation?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, there's not much more to say, read on this.
Right.
It does get into, it says GOP lawmakers are likely particularly curious about whether Weiss's office had closed the case on an FBI document that is now at the center of Comer's investigation. Former Attorney General Bill Barr has said that the record was given to federal authorities, but none of Tuesday's charges are related to that record or Hunter Biden's business deals. That document details a conversation a confidential source from the Bureau had about allegations that an executive at the Ukrainian gas company Burisma offered a bribe to then Vice President Joe Biden and Hunter. Republicans have treated the document like a verified bombshell and repeatedly touted that it's being passed on to federal investigators in Delaware as a sign of its validity. The FBI has stressed that including information in a so-called FD 1023 does not mean it is verified. Politico is so, on Biden's jock on this. It's like, just because they have documents that say this doesn't mean that it's a valid document. It's probably a false document because the FBI said that it doesn't mean it's validated. So you can't believe that because it comes from the Republicans. Yeah. It's not just Comer and Jordan who are eager to keep digging. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, it
just goes on and says, how the Republicans are really trying, but there's nothing there.
Yeah. Well, nothing's going to come of this either. Right. Yeah. I mean, they're going to spend how many millions of dollars investigating Joe Biden, and how much is going to come out of this?
Yeah, nothing. I mean, it's all lip service as far as I'm concerned. It's all the Republicans saying, yeah, we're going to get him because there's some shady stuff going on, and it's never going to go anywhere.
Now, part of me wants to hope and pray that, they gave him this plea deal, but the investigation's still ongoing because of other people involved. Part of me really wants Hunter to have flipped on his dad.
That would be
and
awesome.
Made a plea agreement.
Holy
He's
shit.
to throw Pedo Pete under the bus.
Right.
Derek Ambrose says, "Have no fear, I have arrived."
Hey, Derek.
Derek, we weren't really afraid, but we are glad you have arrived.
We're a little afraid now.
we're more scared now. Absolutely. Could you imagine that though?
Oh, that would be awesome. And he would do it too.
I mean, he's been charging his kid $20,000 to live in his fucking house.
What do you think now, Dad?
Yeah. It's like, all that crack threw me under the bus for? He's like, that was your crack. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
He's like, he straight up calls him Pedo Pete. He can't have good feelings about his dad.
No.
He's got to know the allegations that are out there about.
He's probably the fucking whistleblower.
Joe. Yeah, he could be.
He's trying to get that movie deal too.
Now, if that were the case, would that be enough to put Joe Biden away? If his own son Hunter flipped, I think the Republicans would take him in open arms like they did Kanye fucking West.
Yes, he would show up at the RNC.
He would.
Guy and the Kloskis.
Now, I could see the Republicans going as far as being like, we'll throw you up as our nominee for 2024
Yeah, right.
if
Yeah.
you roll on Joe Biden.
Yeah.
That's how desperate they are.
Yeah.
Derek says, can I get a shout out? I'm organizing a 100% free event. Now, anything that starts out 100% free is usually almost always not 100% free. Derek, is this a legitimately 100% free? 100% free event in Memphis, Missouri, just a little bit south of the Iowa line, northeast side of the state. It's a Kids Safety Day, the 13th year we've done it. All youngins are welcome. So come down to Memphis, Missouri this weekend, June 24th, from 1000 to 1400. They have big-ass bouncy houses, he said.
Oh, sweet.
Door prizes, free food, free Pepsi, free
Cotton
popcorn,
candy.
free cotton candy, and my favorite, big-ass bouncy houses.
Nice.
I was going to stop with big ass. No, Derek, that's awesome. If this is legit, hopefully it's not like a ploy to like kidnap children
Right,
or
bring
anything.
kids in.
No. I'll be nice. Do this thing. If you're anywhere near Missouri and not crazy busy this weekend, check this thing out. Derek
it
sounds
sounds
like
awesome.
he's doing awesome things, helping people, doing like local shit, which we should be supporting, not paying our taxes and stuff like that. We should be supporting local events like this and big ass bounce houses, because who doesn't like a big ass bounce
Absolutely.
house? Definitely hit that thing up. Hit up Derek for more information. Derek, I wish I had time to like pull you on to talk about this, but we're like almost out of time now. So, Kids say Scotland County. I thought it was in Scotland. Scotland County Kids Safety Day. Sounds freaking kick ass.
Yeah,
Go
it
to
does.
it. Check out the Scotland County Kids Safety Day. Support things that actually make a difference in the world, unlike your local or not local, but your federal politicians. All right, getting back. Thanks for that, Derek. I mean, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Good luck with that. Hope
It's a
that
good
goes
turnout.
great. Yeah. Where were we? Corruption. Hunter Biden running for.
Oh yeah, right. Because him and Donald Trump probably shared a hooker at one point.
Can you imagine if the Republican Party flips on Donald Trump and instead takes Hunter Biden as
God.
their nominee?
Oh man.
Because he flipped on Joe Biden.
Right.
I mean, that'd be something. I would vote for Hunter Biden just to see how that shit went down. Just to see if that played,
It would
how
be
that
a
played
movie
out.
I'd watch though.
It absolutely would. I definitely would. I'd be like, I'm voting for this because this is going to be fucking awesome. This is going to be great. I mean, Biden's probably still not going to go to jail. Hunter's going to. Can you imagine a Hunter Biden presidency?
Would be a thing of beauty.
Of all the debauchery that's already taken place in the White House, that would be like setting the bar so much higher.
You'd be doing cocaine off of Kamala's ass.
Oh God, ew. Where was I? So that was one idea I had. Maybe potentially
That would
he
be
flips.
interesting, yeah. Or even his brother, right? Joe Biden's brother.
Yeah, I can't think of his name. What's Joe Biden's brother's name? Somebody tell me. He said he's been busy trying to nail shit down the last few days. Had 500-ish kids attend last year. This is Derek.
Oh.
And you guys are in the background as I listen and attempt to not lose my mind trying to finish this event. Well, I'm glad we can be your peace of mind and sanity in all of this. That brings me joy.
James Biden.
James Biden. There you go.
Yes.
Dickhead Biden. Yes. The other more likely scenario is that some legalese of this plea deal means no more look into Joe Biden, like I was saying.
Right.
Like that nails the coffin on the Joe
Right.
Biden story. Not nails the coffin, but that puts it to bed.
Right. And you brought up a good point where it just strikes Hunter from, they can't get to Bo. Sorry, Bo's the dead one.
Bo's dead.
They can't get to Joe through Hunter at all.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't pinned all of this on Bo Biden because he's dead.
Right.
It's like, all these
That's the
arrangements, all
last
these
resort.
deals.
Yeah.
Bo was the hookup.
Yeah, right.
So, God rest his soul.
Right. Or the daughter-in-law, right?
I mean, she was kind of a hoe.
Well, she was banging Hunter.
She was just kind of a hoe, obviously. Probably at the funeral, at Bo's
Yeah,
funeral.
right. Yeah.
The game is fucking rigged. The game is rigged.
Yes. And this is all this tonight is evidence of it.
Mm-hmm. It's all rigged. Nothing changes. It doesn't matter who you put in office. Those people don't go to jail. Crooked Hillary hasn't gone to jail, as Donald Trump calls her. Trump hasn't gone to jail yet.
No.
Joe Biden hasn't gone to jail. Bill Clinton hasn't gone to jail. The Obamas haven't gone to jail. Who else? The Bushes haven't gone to jail.
Cheney.
Freaking Richard Nixon never went to jail. No. None of them go to jail because they all do it. They're all part of it. They're all part of the fucking game. And why would you put them in jail? Because then it just what goes around comes around.
Right. Yeah, and that's part of the game because they pardon them and they pardon them and they may say, hey, they're going to jail, but at the end of the day, no one's going to jail.
It's all part of it.
Right. And they all get rich.
I've seen this with this Hunter Biden stuff, the Hunter Biden stuff, where they're like, well, I'd like to see all these Republicans throwing a fit about how tax evasion's a crime because Donald Trump is supposedly guilty of the same type of stuff, supposedly. So it's just like, I just want to hear what they have to say about tax. And it's just like, nothing's going to happen because of that mindset there. It's just like, well, we can't nail this guy for the thing that our guy is being charged with because that's not going to go well for us. It's kind of like the whole, what we talked about with the documents thing. It's like, well, nothing's going to happen because we were like, I can't wait for them to throw the hammer at Joe Biden for these documents and then I have it fly back at them for Donald Trump in the documents or vice versa because, I mean, it has to. If you throw the hammer, it has to bounce back at the people that are doing the same shit.
Except for it never lands.
Nothing lands anywhere. Yeah, Nobody goes to jail.
Like
we go to jail.
Right.
Jails are not for those people.
Yeah. We would go to jail for $500. But $1 billion, fuck it.
Right.
Let's start another company.
Like the IRS set up a task force to look at people spending more than, $600 on things?
Yeah.
And you better believe those people will end up in jail if they
or paying a lot more money.
Misappropriate $600 worth of taxes, or like that couple that was
for what $2 million they were
conspiracy attempting to commit tax fraud, 30 months plus what was it, another 3 years probation plus like 900 some thousand in fees in legal fees or whatever.
Yeah,
but then Hunter Biden, they're just like, well, he pled guilty, so he's just gonna have 2 years probation. The probation was specifically for the gun crime.
Yeah, right.
The tax thing he wanted to have
which is a felony.
Yeah,
right.
Well, they're dropping the felony as long as he
cops to
fulfills
the misdemeanors.
as long as he fulfills the 2 years probation. So then the felony gets dropped because God forbid we have a president's son with a felony charge.
Oh yeah, that never happens.
No, never. Got anything else on this rigged game?
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like this whole show should be just talking about the rigged.
I feel like the whole last 2 months has been all about rigged shit.
Yeah, and it's like
we need a good story, Craig.
Well, you get one side that's like, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be the final straw for them, and then the other side of the media is like, no evidence pointing at this whatsoever, and it's just like we're just stuck here like. You gotta be fucking kidding me.
I feel like we need a win. I don't feel like we've had a win in a while.
What would be a win to you? What would constitute a win?
Someone going to jail. I don't care who anymore.
Yeah, just send somebody fucking
send someone to jail for doing something wrong. Somebody rich and with
connections.
Yes, send them to jail.
Like I said at the beginning of the show, you can tell the people that are connected based on their sentencing.
Right.
Because Ross Albright, not so much connected.
No.
SBF, very much connected.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden, very, very connected. Very connected. These two little peons from Maryland and North Carolina, not very connected.
Hunter Biden, I mean, fuck. He paints pictures for $350,000 that get sold, and now he's getting a fucking moving deal based on a book of his fucked up life.
And he probably didn't even write the book.
No, he didn't. Some ghostwriter did it, and he's like, yeah, that's exactly what happened.
They paid him $2 million, which was probably some form of money laundering too. Everything this guy touches is a form of money laundering. That's what it is.
Yeah, you're right. The fucking movie is a movie. The Hunter Biden action figure that's going to come out with the movie.
I will buy that.
I know you will.
I will absolutely buy the Hunter Biden. It better have come with a
thing of Coke.
A pack of Parmesan cheese.
There you go.
And a stripper.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. You're right, and the movie's gonna come out, and they're gonna make him look like fucking Forrest Gump.
It will. It'll be great. It'll be like redemption story.
Yep.
I want to see the Hunter Biden movie that is more like The Wolf on Wall Street
There
type.
you go. And that's more what it should be.
It should be, but more of a dumbass version of it.
Right.
But it will be more of a redemptive story, and it's going to be his boost into politics. You know,
fuck yes.
Hunter Biden's going to be in politics.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what is he if not a better George W. Bush?
Probably I don't want to say much better, but more,
not better, but
more. What's the word I'm looking for?
Successful?
Not even successful. Like he can pronounce words better.
There you go. More articulate.
There you go. More
Yes.
That's the word I was looking. More articulate George W. Bush.
Yeah.
Because he'll still get us into the fucking wars.
Yeah.
He'll still.
Except for he's going to make more money off of it because he just is a little bit more savvy on that end.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. The Bushes were pretty savvy. I
Oh.
mean, they were still making money from the
That's
Bin
true.
Ladens after 9/11.
Right.
So they were okay.
Yeah.
They did all right.
Still making money.
Yes. I mean, that's all I got. That's all I got for this. It's infuriating.
It is. Like I said, it seems like every show we've done has been
Lately, it's like it's to the point where it's like it used to be like we got to do this so this doesn't happen, and now it's like this shitty thing happened and there's not a damn thing we can do about it because they're gonna keep doing it until we burn it down.
Yes.
Kick them all out.
Yes.
Probably at gunpoint or something. FBI, I'm not suggesting that, but I'm
we're
saying
just saying if it were to happen,
the
it wouldn't
only
be
way,
bad.
I mean, it's the only chance is if somebody potentially did it at gunpoint or something like that. But we're not saying to do that, so don't go do that, please.
No.
That's the only way anything changes. Just burn the shit to the ground.
Yeah, it's gotta be burned down.
Yeah,
and start from scratch because the whole system's fucked.
It is. I mean, yeah, it is.
There's no way to sugarcoat it.
No, there's no. It's screwed.
Yeah.
We just need a good house cleaning. That's what we need.
We do.
Need a good forest fire to burn. When they burn the ditches to get rid of all the old shit. The old shit. So new, better shit can come. I mean, that's what it comes down to. We just need a ditch fire.
We do.
A ditch fire in Washington is what we need.
I'm down with that.
I am too. That's all I got. Make sure you come back here next week for another fun-filled show. Keeping your sanity, as Derek said. Not sure how we maintain your sanity, but I mean that's a compliment, I guess.
Yeah.
As long as somebody's doing it, we'll keep being that person for you. Come back next week so you can maintain or lose your sanity, whichever you prefer. We will most likely be back next Monday night, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, unless a baseball game or something like that comes up.
But then we'll be back on Tuesday.
Then we'll be back some other day, or we won't, or something. We'll be back. We will eventually.
We'll be back.
Check out our social media. We can be found on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at our handle at Break the Bell Pod. Share it, like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I mean, there is literally, as you're watching this or listening to us, there's a like and subscribe button down in this region. So you really don't even have to take an AF or do it right now as you're listening. And hit the share button while you're at it and share it to 5 people. Yeah. Share it to 5 people. If all 4 of you share it to 5 people, that's 20 people that we will reach. So do that. Buy our merch. Help support us. If you want cool shit and you want to help support us, buy our merch at breakthebellpod.com, which is where our online store is. Otherwise, be back here next week. Have a great rest of your week.
Peace.
We'll catch you later. Goodbye.
The Break the Bell podcast is brought to you by you. So pat yourself on the back because without you, we would be talking to ourselves. A special thanks to our Patreon members, Justin Zielinski, Remzo Martinez, Stephanie Parker, and T.O. Jacobson. A shout out to our sponsors, Run Your Mouth Coffee, the On the Run podcast, and Goulash Media. If you'd like to help support us, visit patreon.com/breakthebell or buy our garbage at breakthebell.bigcartel.com. Get back here next week and let us continue to invade your ear holes. And as always, never stop talking.